Here we go. Got the YouTube up and going. Howdy to the folks on YouTube. And I'm going to turn a camera so at least you get. Oh, my. Oh, there I. Oh, we already got kind of a camera over this way. So I'll just put a camera that way. And so you have two more. And okay, now we're doing the Book of the Face. They've been naughty. They helped the Russians out, spread their propaganda, and they did. They knew what they were doing. They knew what it was going out over their system. So, even though Giggly Bot got the 50 million names and such like to send the propaganda to. That those who received the propaganda acted accordingly on it. Oh, shame on them. Shame on them. Okay. And here we go. Putting up the title work. Saturday evening news. Yeah, baby. And bam, sucker, boom, host Richard. There was a Ricardo who was mourned by one of the speakers this afternoon. I think it was from out of Washington. May well have been referring to a Ricardo from a shooting in East L.A. or a school shooting down in L.A. Not too many of them down there. But it's definitely, it's a white boy crime. You kind of notice that, most of these big mass shootings, white man shootings. Yeah, oh boy. Alienation among the white male is not a healthy phenomenon. Add guns and you get bang, bang, bang. So, here we go. Start broadcast. And, alienation, it's, in the 1930s, according to one of the best history books I've read on the 1930s, and from the 30s to the 60s, through the 60s, and that is The Glory and the Dream. Read it back in 76. I know, who was that? Manchester, or anyways, it's a great history book, and it mentioned that back in the 30s, there was labor unions were given the right to organize and did with, great vigor. Boy Scouts was doing great. Girl Scouts was doing great. Campfire Girls, churches were alive and well. Synagogues. There were mosques around the country because Islam's been here as long as slaves came from Africa who were Muslims. And their masters granted them the privilege of practicing their religion. So that was either late 1600s or early 1700s. So the 1930s, people were organized. There were a lot of poor people. 30% of the inductees into the Army in World War II had suffered from malnutrition sometime in their life, but people were organized, and the result of that was a reduction in alienation. And that's now after the war. There was one mass shooting conducted by a veteran, a very bright man, but had gone, his psychopathy had taken him over. But that happened in 1946. He used a Luger, and so, but there was still a slaughter. 11 people got killed. But with the big magazines and such like, and these rifles, and oh man, it is slaughter. It is a bad thing. That is to be regulated away from. So, my thoughts on that. So let's We got our YouTube and Facebook up, and we're rolling. And I'd like to share with you our sponsors. And before we get to that, I'm going to keep my entries in my radio log. And and what time we getting to have here? Boom, boom, boom. Getting a time check. Yeah, 8:07. And Facebook, YouTube. And all right, sponsor time. You can be a sponsor. Give us a call at 209-467-4455. Look us up online at thevoiceofstockton.org or kxvs.org. And become a member. And if you're a small business, a law firm, accounting firm, a doctor's office, oh yeah, we'd love to have you. Small businesses, very, very welcome. Among them are Hotel Furniture Liquidators at 1648 North Shaw Road. Furniture for your home or your rental. The Miracle Mile Bookstore, 2210 Pacific Avenue. Yeah, books, hardback and paperback. Kids' books, adult books. And also Doors Book Recyclery. Yeah, you can take books in and they buy them, and you can buy books there as well. Doors Book Recyclery at 2310 Pacific Avenue. Plastics. Yeah, they're the future. That's what was said in The Graduate back in '68. Custom plastics and signs at 326 East Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard. They'll do plastic fabrication and make you a display. They got plastic sheets, tubes, and rods for them do-it-yourselfers. Corrugated plastic signage, pretty as it can be. Stencils and vehicle boat graphics to pretty up your vehicles. T-shirts and business cards printed at custom plastics and signs. Yeah. Millennium Computer Repair. Sarfraz Khan on the road for you. He's in the 209-922-1879. Virus and spyware removal. Performance enhancements. Computer repairs. Parts and whole computer thingies for sale. And Habitat for Humanity has the Restore. It's at 4933 West Lane, 100 yards south of March Lane. Wonderful place. You can get, we've gotten insulation there. We've got lots of stuff there. And heck, that you can, we've gotten, our desks we got from Delta College. And we, anyways, the Restore, HVAC, electrical tools, doors, windows, and occasionals such as lumber and building insulation, paint, and wallboard. Tender Donuts. Who wants donuts? Get them at Tender Donuts. We bake fresh daily. That is Chanrath Sam and Siv Sam. They're 1304 East Hammer Lane and Suite 15. Open 7 days a week. Open at 4:30 a.m. for you early risers. Yeah, get that donuts. Get them donuts. And that big mug filled. Ooh, yeah, start the day right. And they open at 5:30 a.m. on Sundays, open till 6 p.m. Leaders T-shirt printing, 500 East Lodi Avenue at Garfield in Lodi. Yeah, T-shirts and business cards. All righty, rolling along, 8:12 p.m. here at the Voice of Stockton. It is time for your evening weather report. Oh, stay there. All righty-us. I think we can, yeah. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a delete and then a WW. What the heck? Pip, pip, pip. Delete and W. Yeah, I'm just going to put the weather.gov and this will update us. What's going on over California, eh? Okay, we got some of that pinky stuff up on the coast, and that looks to be or more of a mauve. That's a winter storm warning or red flag warning. Yeah, it's a red flag warning from the Cape Mendocino up past the Oregon border. And then further inland in Trinity and Siskiyou County and Lassen County, all the way down through Alpine County, the North Sierras, look, winter weather advisory. And then northwest San Bernardino County looks to have, is that wind advisory? All righty-us. And then, yeah, beautiful day today. We had rain here in Stockton. And beautiful clouds. Great start to the spring. March has been good. Rain in due season. Stockton, California. Here we go, here we go. Bam. Go, sucker. As of 7:55 p.m., it is at the Stockton Metropolitan Airport. Radio call letters, because they got a tower there, is KSCK. And it's fair with, it's 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is at 61%. Wind is calm. Barometer is at 30.05 inches of mercury. Dew point's going to be at 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Visibility 10 miles. Okay, let's do a little down page scrolly. Zoink. A little bit more. Zoink, zoink. And tonight looks to be partly cloudy with a low of 39. Sunday, 20% chance of showers in the morning. Then mostly sunny with a high of 59. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low of 39. Monday, sunny with a high of 66. Monday night, clear with a low of 42. Tuesday, sunny with a high of 72. Tuesday night, mostly clear with a low of 47. Wednesday, sunny with a high of 74. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low of 51. So we're going to be facing increasing temperatures, not excessively high, seasonal, and nighttime temperatures going up from 39 to 51 and from 59 during the day up to 74. All righty-us. And let's kind of go over here to the show logs. And I'm going to just bring up my own. Oh, wait a minute. And this shouldn't take long. What? Let's see. Dwang. Still not seeing me stuff. Okay, continue. Uh-oh. All righty, have to breeze through it again. Uh-oh. What the heck? Hey, this is not cool. Oh, wow. I am not seeing my Olivet show. This is kind of a drag. Wait, there's an OS. I guess I'll give that a try. Yeah, there it is. Alrighty, I'll make a time check. We got 8:17 here, and working our way towards that tax act. And this is a show log. Alrighty, a little scroll down the page, and we have been since back on the 13th of January, going through the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And last week we made it up to page 360 of 1,097 pages. And with that, we're going to head on in now to, going to shrink this down, capital, and we're going to bring up the, going to get to doing the taxes. Alrighty. Today is in the 2018 year of our Lord. That is the Christian calendar. I'm sorry, the Julian calendar, and that's what it means. Omni Deo. And so here we I know, Common Era. And so it is the Saturday evening news capital. Oh, what we got all this cap stuff. I don't like all that cap stuff. So I'm going to delete it. Biptle. And no. That's it. Keyboard is operating properly. And typing in the show name. And we're about to get rolling. And let me first get a time check on the DJ computer. And it looks to be 8:20. That's a good time to get started. Good evening, Stocktonians and people around the world listening in on the voiceofstockton.org. It is time for the Saturday evening news. We have 8:20 p.m. here at the John Moriarty Studio, 231 West Bedford Road, Stockton, California, just a couple of miles south of the 38th parallel. And we're on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act and of December 15th, 2017. Recently, though, the budget for basically the rest of the fiscal year was just passed by the House of Representatives and the Senate and signed into law by Herr Trump. And so it's $1,300,000,000,000, and we'll be getting to that here on the Saturday evening news, and because this is where you get the revenue from, as taxation. Explaining that first, then we'll get to, wow, that was a strange thing. I just flicked my microphone cord with my foot, and I thought somebody was tugging on it. Woo! And so anyways, we'll be getting to the tax. We're heading right on over right now to do the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. I'm going to try to get through this a little quicker, becoming more adept at reading it and explaining it to you. And that'll mean, oh yeah, got to bring these microphones up, excuse me. And testing. Yeah, they were working earlier today. And so I brought my computer from home over here on the big desk on our table. And here I am. And it went to sleep, as it's wont. And yeah, here we go. It's, yeah. We did go to the federal government website and downloaded the Tax Act in a PDF form, and am proceeding with sharing it with you, the general public. And don't want to get my microphone too tied up here, so I'm going to fish it out. From behind these other cords. Bear with me while this is done so, because I don't want it snagging things. Snags are not good. Alrighty, back at it. Desnagged. And call this audition start. So in the heading, the committee of the conference on the disagreeing votes of the two houses on the amendment of the Senate to the bill H.R. 1 to provide for reconciliation pursuant to Titles 2 and 5 of the concurrent resolution on the budget for fiscal year 2018, having met after full and free conference, have agreed to recommend and do recommend to their respective houses as follows. And that the House recede from its disagreement to the amendment of the Senate and agree to the same with an amendment as follows: in lieu of the matter proposed to be inserted by the Senate amendment, insert the following. And the Senate agreed to the same. And so, and that's Title I. So we went from Title I, and now we're going to zoom on down to page 360, and whoops, we made it to 450. Back up here and see where we're at, 381, and we'll kind of warp drive it. Oh, and warp drove too far, and we're going to get off of warp drive, go to impulse drive, old Star Trek terms, and because we don't want to overshoot the solar system. And I sure did enjoy that show in my youth. And here we are at page 360, and there's about a qualified opportunity fund. means in any investment vehicle which is organized as a corporation or a partnership for the purpose of investing. And qualified opportunity zone property other than another qualified opportunity fund that holds at least 90% of its assets in qualified opportunity zone property, determined by the average of the percentage of qualified opportunity zone property held in the fund as measured. Then it's the last day of the first 6-month period, the last day of the taxable year of the fund. It's qualified property, qualified opportunity zone stock, partnership interest, or qualified opportunity zone business property, qualified opportunity zone stock, any stock in a domestic corporation if such stock is acquired by the qualified opportunity fund after December 31st, 2017, at its original issue directly or through an underwriter from the corporation solely in exchange for cash. Second definition, as of the time such stock was issued, such corporation was a qualified opportunity zone business, or in the case of a new corporation, such corporation was being organized for purposes of being a qualified opportunity zone business. And 3, during substantially all of the qualified opportunity funds holding period for such stock, such corporation qualified as a qualified opportunity zone business. Onward to page 362. Redemption. A rule similar to the rule of section 1202C3 shall apply for purposes of this paragraph. We are reading from the Tax Cut and Jobs Act of December 2017. Should the camera be off of me or on me? Oh, well, there's another one. It's switching around. I'm getting various views of the studio. And continuing. Any qualified opportunity zone partnership interest means any capital or profits interest in a domestic partnership if such interest is acquired by the qualified opportunity fund after December 31st, 2017 for the partnership solely in exchange for cash. As of the time such interest was acquired, such partnership was a qualified opportunity zone business similar to the corporation. Those are the same. D, qualified opportunity zone business property means tangible property used in a trade or business of a qualified opportunity fund. If such property was acquired by a qualified opportunity fund by purchase as defined in section 179D2 after December 31st, 2017, the original use of such property in the qualified opportunity zone commences with the qualified opportunity fund or the qualified opportunity fund substantially improves the property. And 3, during substantially all of the qualified opportunity funds holding period for such property, substantially all of the use of such property was a qualified opportunity zone. Substantial improvement. For purposes of subparagraph A2, property shall be treated as substantially improved by the qualified opportunity fund only if during any 30-month period, that is 2.5 years, beginning after the date of acquisition of such property, additions to basis with respect to such property in the hands of the qualified opportunity fund exceed an amount equal to the adjusted basis of such property at the beginning of such 30-month period in the hands of the qualified opportunity fund. That means they got to make improvements on it. 3, related party. For purposes of subparagraph A1, the related person rule of section 179D2 shall be applied pursuant to paragraph 8 of this subsection in lieu of the application of such rule in section 179D2A. That sounds like it's family business. In other words, the Trumps in the White House. Ah! Qualified opportunity zone businesses means a trade or business. Substantially all of the tangible property owned or leased by the taxpayer is qualified opportunity zone business property. Such place, it appears in paragraph 2D, which satisfies the requirements of paragraphs 2, 4, and 8 of section 1397CB, and 3, which is not described in section 144E6B. Special rule for purposes of subparagraph A is tangible property that ceases to be qualified opportunity zone business property shall continue to be treated as a qualified opportunity business property for the lesser of 1, 5 years after the date on which such tangible property ceases to be so qualified, or 2, the date on which such tangible property is no longer held by the qualified opportunity zone business. Applicable rules: treatment of investments with mixed funds. In the case of any investment in a qualified opportunity fund, only a portion of which consists of investments of gain to which an election under subsection A is in effect. Page 366. A. Such investment shall be treated as two separate investments consisting of 1. One investment that only includes amounts to which the election under subsection A applies, and 2, a separate investment consisting of other amounts, and B, subsections A, B, and C shall only apply to the investment described in subparagraph A1. Related persons are related to each other if such persons are described in section 267B or 707B1, determined by substituting 20% for 50% each place it occurs in such sections. That sounds like the tax cut. Or ownership percentage. That would have to be further looked into. Decedents. In the case of a decedent, that's when somebody, they pass away, amounts to recognized under this section shall, if not properly includable in the gross income of the decedent, be includable in the gross income as provided by section 691. Regulations such as these, laws such as these, give parameters to doing business. It actually puts people singing off the same sheet of music. It makes overall business easy. Once you know the rules of the game, it makes it easier to conduct them, to play the game, to run the business. Okay, regulations. The Secretary shall prescribe such regulations as may be necessary or appropriate to carry out the purposes of this section, including, page 367, rules for the certification of qualified opportunity funds for the purposes of this section. B. Rules to ensure a qualified opportunity fund has a reasonable period of time to and reinvest in the return of capital from investments in qualified opportunity zone stock and qualified opportunity zone partnership interests, and to reinvest proceeds received from the sale or disposition of qualified opportunity zone property, and C. Rules to prevent abuse. F. Failure of qualified opportunity fund to maintain investment standard fails to meet the 90% requirement of subsection E1. The qualified opportunity fund shall pay a penalty for each month it fails to meet the requirement in an amount equal to the product of A. the excess of 1. the amount equal to 90% of its aggregate assets over 2. the aggregate amount of qualified opportunity zone property held by the fund multiplied by the underpayment rate established under section 6621A2 for such month. So there's penalties, there are restrictions and penalties. 2. Special rule for partnerships. In case that the qualified opportunity fund is a partnership, the penalty imposed by paragraph 1 shall be taken into account proportionately as part of the distributive share of each partner of the partnership. 3. Reasonable cause exceptions. No penalty shall be imposed under this subsection with respect to any failure if it is shown that such failure is due to reasonable cause. B. Basis adjustment. Section 1016A is amended by striking "and" at the end of paragraph 36 and by striking the period at the end of paragraph 37 and inserting "and" by inserting after paragraph 37 the following: 38, to the extent provided in subsection B2 and E of section 1400Z-2. C or E, clerical amendment. The table of subchapters for Chapter 1 is amended by adding at the end of the following new item, page 360. Subchapter Z, opportunity zones. Page 369, effective date on the date of the enactment of this act. Subtitle D, international tax provisions, outbound transactions. Subpart A, establishment of participation exemption system for taxation of foreign income. Oh, this is how the money's supposed to get back to the United States. ARC, a juicy portion coming up. I hope it's written in plain English. Yeah, as plain as what we've seen so far. We got 8:38 p.m. here at thevoiceofstockton.org. I am Richard Slezak. We're going over the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of December 15th, 2017. And we've had additional laws make it through the Congress and get signed, bills make it through Congress and get signed into law since then. There was the 2-week payment plan for the government done about a month and a half ago. And then the budget went through for the rest of the year, and that's the first one in about 5 years, or at least 3. And so we do have a budget we're working on, and that's been done, that's in place, that's supposed to carry us through September 30th, and we'll be getting to that in coming weeks. Going to try to get this done. Okay. Section 14101, deduction for foreign source portion of dividends received by domestic corporations from specified 10% owned foreign corporations. Part 8 of Subchapter B of Chapter 1 is amended by inserting after Section 245 the following new section. Section 245A, deduction for foreign source portion of dividends received by domestic corporations from specified 10% owned foreign corporations. By a domestic corporation which is a United States shareholder, with respect to such foreign corporations, there shall be allowed as a deduction an amount equal to the foreign source portion of such dividend, specified 10% owned. Means any foreign corporation with respect to which any domestic corporation is a United States shareholder. Exclusion of passive foreign investment companies. Such term shall not include any corporation which is a passive foreign investment company as defined in Section 1297 with respect to the shareholder which is not a controlled foreign corporation. Foreign source portion is an amount which bears the same ratio to such dividend as undistributed foreign earnings of the specified 10% owned foreign corporation bears to the total undistributed earnings of such foreign corporation. Page 371. Undistributed earnings means the amount of the earnings and profits of the specified 10% owned foreign corporation computed in accordance with Section 964A and 986. A. As of the close of the taxable year, the specified 10% owned the foreign corporation in which the dividend is distributed, and B. Without diminution by reason of dividends distributed during such taxable year. Undistributed foreign earnings means the portion of undistributed earnings which is attributable to neither A, income described in subparagraph A of section 245A5, nor dividends described in subparagraph B of such section determined without regard to section 245A12. Disallowance of foreign tax credit no credit shall be allowed under Section 901 for any taxes paid or accrued or treated as paid or accrued with respect to any dividend for which a deduction is allowed under this section. 2. Denial of deduction. No deduction shall be allowed under this chapter for any tax for which credit is not allowable under Section 901 by reason of paragraph 1 determined by treating the taxpayer as having elected the benefits of subpart A of part 3 in subchapter N. We're on page 372. Special rules for hybrid dividends. Subsection shall not apply to any dividend received by a United States shareholder from a controlled foreign corporation if the dividend is a hybrid dividend of tiered corporations with respect to which a domestic corporation as a United States shareholder receives a hybrid dividend from any other controlled foreign corporation with respect to which such domestic corporation is also a United States shareholder, then notwithstanding any other provision of this title, a hybrid dividend shall be treated for purposes of Section 951A1A as Subpart F income of receiving controlled foreign corporation for the taxable year of the controlled foreign corporation in which the dividend was received. We're on page 373. And B, the United States shareholder shall include in gross income an amount equal to the shareholder's pro rata share determined in the same manner as under Section 951A2 of the Subpart F income described in subparagraph A. Denial of foreign tax credit, etc., the rules of subsection 4 shall apply to any hybrid dividend received by or any amount included under paragraph 2 in the gross income of a United States shareholder. Hybrid dividend. The term hybrid dividend means an amount received from a controlled foreign corporation for which a deduction would be allowed under subsection A, but for this subsection, and B, for which the controlled foreign corporation received a deduction or other tax benefit with respect to any income, war profits, or excess profit taxes imposed by any foreign country or possession of the United States. Page 374. Special rule for purging distributions of passive foreign investment companies. Any amount which is treated as a dividend under Section 1291D2B shall not be treated as a dividend for purposes of this section. The Secretary shall prescribe such regulations or other guidance as may be necessary or appropriate to carry out the provisions of this section, including regulations for the treatment of United States shareholders owning stock of a specified 10% owned foreign corporation through a partnership. Let me do a equipment check at this time. Going over to the computers and trying to get what's on their screens. And first we do the radio DJ. Come on up, radio DJ. Okay, there we go. We got 8:46 p.m. here at the Voice of Stockton. And yeah, we're webcasting over Facebook and YouTube. Hi, Facebook and YouTube people. And wait a minute. Now, I have to make sure about that because I see one screen up there and uh-oh. Oh boy, okay. Let me make sure about this. That's not wrong mouse and boom. Okay, I'm going to put much.